The book of Judges, chapter 5. On that day, Deborah and Barak, son of Abinom, sang the song. Praise the Lord! The Israelites were determined to fight. The people gladly volunteered. Listen, you kings. Pay attention, you rulers. I will sing, I will play music to Israel's God, the Lord. Lord, when you left the mountains of Seir, when you came out of the region of Edom, the earth shook and rain fell from the sky. Yes, water poured down from the clouds. The mountains quaked before the Lord of Sinai, before the Lord, the God of Israel. In the days of Shamgar, son of Anath, in the days of Jael, caravans no longer went through the land, and travelers used the side roads. The towns of Israel stood abandoned. Deborah, they stood empty until you came like a mother for Israel. Then there was war in the land, when the Israelites chose new gods. Of the 40,000 men in Israel, did anyone carry shield or spear? My heart is with commanders of Israel, with the people who gladly volunteered. Praise the Lord. Tell of it, you that ride on white donkeys, sitting on saddles, and you that must walk wherever you go. Listen, the noisy crowds round the wells are telling of the Lord's victories, the victories of Israel's people. Then the Lord's people marched down from their cities. Lead on, Deborah, lead on. Lead on, sing a song, lead on. Forward, Barak, son of Abinom. Lead your captives away. Then the faithful ones came down to their leaders. The Lord's people came to him, ready to fight. They came from Ephraim into valley, behind the tribe of Benjamin and its people. The commanders came down from Machir, the officers down from Zebulun. The leaders of Issachar came with Deborah. Yes, Issachar came and Barak too, and they followed him into the valley. But the tribe of Reuben was divided. They could not decide whether to come. Why did they stay behind with the sheep? To listen to shepherds calling the flocks? Yes, the tribe of Reuben was divided. They could not decide whether to come. The tribe of Gad stayed east of the Jordan, and the tribe of Dan remained by the ships. The tribe of Asher stayed by the sea coast. They remained along the shore. But the people of Zebulun and Naphtali risked their lives on the battlefield. At Tanash by the stream of Megiddo, the kings came and fought. The kings of Canaan fought, but they took no silver away. The stars fought from the sky. As they moved across the sky, they fought against Sisera. A flood in the Kishon swept them away. The onrushing river Kishon. I shall march on with strength. Then the horses came galloping on, stamping the ground with their hoofs. Put a curse on Meroz, says the angel of the Lord. A curse on those who live there. They did not come to help the Lord, come as soldiers to fight for him. The most fortunate of women is Jael, wife of Heber the Kenite, the most fortunate of women who live in tents. Sisera asked for water, but she gave him milk. She brought him cream in a beautiful bowl. She took a tent peg in one hand, a workman's hammer in the other. She struck Sisera and crushed his skull. She pierced him through the head. He sank to his knees, fell down and lay still at her feet. At her feet he sank to his knees and fell. He fell to the ground dead. Sisera's mother looked out of the window. She gazed from behind the lattice. Why is his chariot so late in coming? She asked. Why are his horses so slow to return? Her wisest ladies answered, and she told herself over and over, they are only finding things to capture and divide. A girl or two for every soldier. Rich cloth for Sisera. Embroideries, pieces for the neck of the queen. May all your enemies die like that, O Lord, but may your friends shine like the rising sun. And there was peace in the land for 40 years. The book of Judges, chapter 6. Once again, the people of Israel sinned against the Lord. So he let the people of Midian rule them for 7 years. The Midianites were stronger than Israel, and the people of Israel hid from them in caves and other safe places in hills. Whenever the Israelites sowed any seed, the Midianites would come with the Amalekites and the desert tribes and attack them. They would camp on the land and destroy the crops as far as south as the area round Gaza. They would take all the sheep, cattle, and donkeys and leave nothing for the Israelites to live on. They would come with their livestock and tents, as thick as locusts. They and the camels were too many to count. They came and devastated the land, and Israel was helpless against them. Then the people of Israel cried out to the Lord for help against the Midianites, and he sent them a prophet who brought them this message from the Lord, the God of Israel. I brought you out of slavery in Egypt. I rescued you from the Egyptians and from the people who fought against you here in this land. I drove them out as you advanced, and I gave you their land. I told you that I am the Lord your God, and that you should not worship the God of the Amorites, whose land you are now living in. But you did not listen to me. Then the Lord's angel came to the village of Ophrah and sat under the oak tree that belonged to Joash, a man of clan of Abiezer. His son Gideon was threshing some wheat secretly in a winepress, so that the Midianites would not see him. The Lord's angel appeared to him there and said, "The Lord is with you, brave and mighty men." Gideon said to him, "If I may ask, why has all this happened to us if the Lord is with us? What about all the wonderful things that our fathers told us the Lord used to do? How he brought them out of Egypt? The Lord has abandoned us and left us to the mercy of Midianites." Then the Lord ordered him, "Go with all your great strength and rescue Israel from the Midianites. I myself am sending you." Gideon replied, "But Lord, how can I rescue Israel? My clan is the weakest in the tribe of Manasseh, and I am the least important member of my family." The Lord answered, "You can do it because I will help you. You will crush the Midianites as easily as if they were only one man." Gideon replied, "If you are pleased with me, give me some proof that you are really the Lord. Please do not leave until I bring you an offering of food." He said, "I will stay until you come back." So Gideon went to his house and cooked a young goat and used 10 kilograms of flour to make bread without any yeast. He put the meat in a basket and broth in a pot, brought them to the Lord's angel under an oak tree, and gave them to him. The angel ordered him, "Put the meat and the bread on this rock and pour the broth over them." Gideon did so. Then the Lord's angel reached out and touched the meat and the bread with the end of the stick he was holding. Fire came out of the rock and burnt up the meat and the bread. Then the angel disappeared. Gideon then realized that it was the Lord's angel he had seen, and he said in terror, "Sovereign Lord, I have seen your angel face to face." But the Lord said to him, "Peace, don't be afraid. You will not die." Gideon built an altar to the Lord there and named it, "The Lord is Peace." It is still standing at Ophrah, which belongs to the clan of Abiezer. That night the Lord told Gideon, "Take your father's bull and another bull 7 years old. Tear down your father's altar to Baal and cut down the symbol of the goddess Asherah, which is beside it. Build a well-constructed altar to the Lord your God on the top of his mount. Then take the second bull and burn it whole as an offering, using for firewood the symbol of Asherah you have cut down." So Gideon took 10 of his servants and did what the Lord had told him. He was too afraid of his family and the people of the town to do it by day, so he did at night. When the people of the town got up early the next morning, they found out that the altar to Baal and the symbol of Asherah had been cut down, and that the second bull had been burnt on the altar that had been built there. They asked each other, "Who did this?" They investigated and found out that Gideon, son of Joash, had done it. Then they said to Joash, "Bring your son out here, so that we can kill him." He tore down the altar to Baal and cut down the symbol of Asherah beside it. But Joash said to all those who confronted him, "Are you standing up for Baal? Are you defending him?" Anyone who stands up for him will be killed before morning. If Baal is a god, let him defend himself. It is his altar that was torn down. From then on, Gideon was known as Jerubbaal, because Joash said, "Let Baal defend himself. It is his altar that was torn down." Then all the Midianites and the Amalekites and the desert tribes assembled, crossed the river Jordan, and camped in the valley of Jezreel. The Spirit of the Lord took control of Gideon, and he blew a trumpet to call the men of the clan of Abiezer to follow him. He sent messengers throughout the territory of both parts of Manasseh to call them to follow him. He sent messengers to tribes of Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali, and they also came to join him. Then Gideon said to God, "You say that you have decided to use me to rescue Israel. Well, I am putting some wool on the ground where we thresh the wheat. If in the morning there is dew only on the wool but not on the ground, then I will know that you are going to use me to rescue Israel." That is exactly what happened. When Gideon got up early the morning, he squeezed the wool and wrung enough dew out of it to fill a bowl with water. Then Gideon said to God, "Don't be angry with me. Let me speak just once more. Please let me make one more test with the wool. This time let the wool be dry and the ground be wet." That night God did that very thing. The next morning the wool was dry, but the ground was wet with dew.